Yes. Okay. So now in unit one, we have a unit name that is Introduction to Database Management System. Under this unit, we have two important topics of our class, that is database users and database learning. Starting from the database administrator. As we know, database administrator is what actually this DBA itself is a user. So if you're remembering the architecture of or the diagram of the database management system or system architecture of the database, then you will be able to see there are four different kind of the users and it could be very, it could be many. When talking about the name users, as we know, application programmer, as we know, and talking about the other parts, as we know, what are they? But DB is a more important part where he or she has to maintain the entire database and also to assign some privilege. As a student, you are not allowed to change anything, so you don't have any privilege to write anything on the database. So when talking about the other operation, you just able to see only the read operation. But as a faculty, I have the right the data. I have the right the some information in the database, but I have limited privilege. I can't change the my profile. I can't change the system admin profile. So depend on the privilege, depend on the rights, what kind of role we are having. From this perspective, what we have a simple term over here, the database administrator. So role of a DBA is a more important point over here. So I'm not pretty sure about this time right now, but there are some guarantee. There's some guarantee. The question asked into the examination: what are the various roles of a DBA in database system? So you have to write all these points to describe all the points properly. So DBA is database administrator. So what are the roles and duties which are consisted by the database and DBA, or we can say database administrator over here? So we have the some points. First one is schema definition. Schema definition, what is mean by the schema definition is means what we are doing. If you're looking for this point right now, then you'll be able to see what is mean by the schema definition. So as we know what do you mean by the schema? Schema is means we are talking about the architecture or structure defined. So I can say right over here, I can say right over here, schema means I'm talking about the structure defined. So when talking about this point right now, so we have to keep in mind the schema definition is a necessary point. Why? Why? Because if schema is not defined properly, then what kind of information we have to feed into the database? That is the point. So first point we have, that is the definition is required. So we can say schema definition means I'm talking about the structure definition, structure definition of the database. That is the point. Next one, we're talking about the storage structure and access method. Yes, of course. Storage structure is saying to us you are not allowed to put the age of anyone more than the 100. A student cannot be more than the 100 years old. So that is a point we have to keep in mind. But in today's era, everything will be possible, so we can do. But we are putting some constraint. So storage structure is necessary. Suppose you want to put the uh, age of the person, and only two digits are required. So minimum byte we can consume to store the age. Why you are using the long type, long data type, or long integer information? Just like example in C and C plus programming, if you're writing a program, then you just need to store information by the integer form only. Then why you are using the long and double long and so and so? No, it is not required. So you are unnecessarily consuming the memory. So that is a point we have to keep in mind while defining the use schema at the moment. An access method is saying to us what are the privilege, what is the role I am giving to the other person who can access the information or who can not access the information. That is the point I have to keep in mind. Third point is saying to us schema and physical organization structure. In this case what we are doing, the schema which is already available, but sometimes we need to update some information. After sometimes I found that the students roll number, name, age, date of birth, gender, so many things are available, but I forgotten to add the contact address. Then what I need to do, I need to modify the particular database or core table by adding a extra or additional column. So this is what I'm just need to modify the structure of the my schema. So it is also possible, and that is to be done by the database administrator. If talking about the beta of example, as we know, if I'm putting the, we are putting the contact detail along with the Aadhaar card number, but sometimes after the 2 years or maybe after the 2 months, if a university is just following a rules, every student is required to keep your PAN card number. So then what you will do? Again, you will apply the PAN card, you will get the PAN card number, then you will put the detail of the PAN card number after getting the privilege. Now you are ready to update something. So that is the point. Without giving the concern or consonant from the admin, you are not allowed to modify your profile. If it is happening, so if your friend just stole your friend just know your password, your, then what he or she will do? He or she will update your profile. So that is the point. So to prevent from the other person, to prevent the things, and it is required, then we can do the particular thing properly. So prevent from the unnecessary or unauthorized entries on unauthorized person, we can prevent our data. So privilege or rights, how many rights or privilege you have, based on that factor, you can update your information. Fourth point is saying to us granting user authority to access the database. The same point. This is the totally related to the third point as I've spoken over here. Now, see, authority and granting. So I'm giving the authority to the anyone or not. So that is the point. I'm taking real example. Suppose after giving the marks on the PTOP, after 10 days and 15 days, if I need to update, then I'm unable to update. Why? Because I got the chance to update the marks of the student. Maybe it could be any other reason. So what is happening over there? That is the authority I don't have. After the 15 days, I don't have granting to update something. So how many people or how many users are having the authority to use such information? That is the point. Suppose you need to update your profile, then you will make a request to the system admin, sir, can you reset my password, can you do something? So this is happening. So they are giving the granting, they are giving the privilege to update your password at that moment, and after that, after some time, you will lose your granting. So it is better to update your password as soon as possible after getting the consent from the admin. So that is the point. Now you can log in into the system, but you are not allowed to access the admin password of the Google. No, we don't know, and we are not able to write to access the information because we are not having the grant. Grant means permission. Fifth point is saying to us specifying the integrity constraint. Fifth point is saying to us integrity constraint means if we have the data and how the particular data is integrated with the other point. Like in here we can understand, if I need to put the mobile number of the my friend, okay, so I can put, no issue. But if I need to update my mobile number, if I need to put the any information, then how I can put? So as we know, my name will be the XYZ, but my name cannot be 123, because in any country or in this world, no one has their name by numbers. Okay, the rare case can be acceptable, but we know this is fundamental thing. Name should be informed the alphabetical. Okay, so with help of the alpha, by using the alphabet or combination of the alphabets, we can make the name, but by using numbers, how we can? That is it. So this is a point we have to keep in mind. This is the important role. Sixth point is acting as a license with the user. This acting as a license with the user is saying to us, if we have the multiple users, then who is using the particular thing? Just like example of the BTOP. So in the BTOP, as an admin, suppose I'm on the leave, if I'm just, then who will take care of the admin responsibility? So I can assign my responsibility to the next user who can manage all the things. That is acting as a license with the user. So users will feel at least admin is available and he or she can manage the thing. So we can assign some responsibilities, or we can assign the privilege to manage the thing properly on the time. So instead of the database admin, we must have a system admin. First, we have the system admin, and then we have the database admin. Database admin will manage the entire database, and system admin will keep the information properly. And he's also create. He can also system admin has a right to create the any database administrator. That is the point you have to keep in mind. In an entire system, in an entire organization, there will be one system or system admin, but a admin can generate the many database administrator, and many database administrator can have their role to specify the thing. So suppose if someone is on the leave, then how will manage the organization, how will manage the particular department? So acting as a license with the users began, so work will not be stopped at that moment. Fifth, sixth point is monitoring the performance and responding to the changes in the requirement. So this is simple point we need to see. If some student just need to drop the admission due to some other reason we don't know. So after getting the admission, after the 1 month, he just need to decide, oh, I need to get the admission, I need to withdraw the admission. So it is also possible. So what we have to do, we have to keep the information this student's record has to delete. So we can monitor, we can update, or we can do the something as our record. I'm remembering a very simple matter which has happened with me. So some properties called me, sir, I need to update my contact number due to some other reason and so on. So I request to the system admin and the database admin, please update the my properties contact details. And I have just got this mail previously. He had this number and now updated by this number as well. So after the sometimes within the 1 and 2 days, so his contact number was updated, but I don't have any right to such it. That is my point. System admin and DBA has a right to change the contact details. Even students also does not belong to the any kind of the right to update any information. That is my point. So from this perspective, we have to keep in mind properly what is the role which are assigned, which is to be managed by the DBA, that is the database administrator. I'm remembering once again, and I'm saying to all once again, there will be one system admin, but system admin can have the many DBA. That is a point you have to keep in mind while learning the database management system. Can have. It is okay, we have the one, then it is necessary. There should be one database administrator DBA, but it can have, or the system can have many DBA. It is also possible. When talking about the large industries, in the large industries, the DBA is looking for the particular department only, and he or he is able to handle the only the particular data department's database only. So how we can troubleshoot such problem if other departments also having the same problem? So it's a better idea to assign the new DBA to particular department only. That is the reason. So monitoring of the performance and responding to any changes in requirement we can do. And this is happening with the banks. Banks in the banking sector, we all also know that part. After sometimes banking application will update in coming days, of course, and now it is updating and we updated. So what is this? This is the thing. Uh, I'm remembering right now an example in bank. They are getting the message from the RBI. The bank is just reducing their interest rate. Previously, 2 years back, they are providing the 6.5 percentage on the particular banking product, but now they are reducing for 6.5 to the 4.5. So what bank will do? Bank will update bank. So the DB of the particular bank will update the interest rate 6.5 to 4.5, and this will be applicable to all. If anyone who will apply, then within while in the next year or maybe after some time, he or she will applicable for only the 4.5 interest rate, and it is happening. That is a point. You can visit any banking website. You will feel you will see all these things properly. Okay, so this is the role of the DB. Is it clear to all right now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. So next we have the database users. So database users, as we have seen, the application programmers, sophisticated users, specialized users, and nav users. As I told you so many times, application programmers are those users who will interact with the system through the DML calls. DM calls means a small. This calls means you can understand. This calls means we are talking about the call. This call means we are talking about the sentence. This is also known as the command. In general way, we can say command. But operating system will identify these commands as a cause. Those students who have been studied the operating system, so they know what is mean by system cause. Or system cause means we are talking about the commands. And specialized user definitely write the specialized code. As I told you, the banking application. So DBA, there will be some users who will write the specialized code to update the interest rate value from 6.5 to 6.4.0. So what they are doing, they are writing the specialized code for updating the interest, and that is also possible. And see, those customers who have been opted the 6.5 interest rate basic banking product, and after 2 days it will be changed to 6.5 to the 4.0 or 4.5, then those who have been opted, their information will not be affected. If it is affected, they will lose their interest rate amount. That is a point we have to keep in mind. So the code we need to write properly. So in the next day or in the coming day, if anyone try to opt the particular banking product, this interest rate will be applicable to only those customers. That was the point. The specialized users are the specialized users who will try to write the code in specialized form. Sophisticated users, as we know, as we have discussed already, so many times they will use to write the query by using query language. Here we have to study the SQL. So SQL stands for the structure query language. Naive. Naive user is what? Naive user is basically novice user, just like the end user. They are not required to update anything. They will use the code or they will use the syntax which is already created. They will not write to anything over here. But the database is providing, they will use only such information and nothing else. That is the point. So name user just like the end user. Okay, so I can write over here for a betterment, then you can understand. It means this is the end user. Okay, so this all these four different types of the database user is clear to all right now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. So now it's time to see about the relational database. Okay, this is the relational database I'm teaching right now. So you will say, sir, what do you mean by the relational database? Yes. So the point it is written over here, but before that, let me explain all this concept with the example. This slide you will be able to see in the form of the blank. So I'm explaining the relational database example with help of the simple example. So let me explain example of relational database. Now it is visible to all right now what I'm typing or what I'm writing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm giving the chance to any one of the student. You just can tell me any database name, so we will understand what we have to. Just tell me. Just tell me.
MySQL.
I am not talking about the tools or software of the database. I'm talking about the database. You just need to tell me real example of the or any database you want to tell. Just like the student room, faculty, books,
Bank.
banks. Okay, bank. Should we go for bank?
Okay, sir.
No,
Yes, sir.
no. If you want to change,
Yes,
then you can change. If you want to go, if you want to change, then I can change. No issue. So think and tell me right now.
Database of a food delivery app.
Okay, so food delivery app. Okay, so I'm writing here. This is a food. Okay, this is the food delivery app. He student is saying. So can you tell me the what are the attributes you would like to use by the food delivery? That is the we can say the. Just tell me what would be the first attribute.
Name, phone number, address.
Okay, so we can say the token number. We can say there will be token to deliver the food, and we can say the name of the person who will get the food name. Next we have the address, Next we have the contact number. Contact number. So I'm not writing it food, it is, we can say, the food delivery. Okay, so it is better idea. So you can able to see contact number, address, name, and the token. Why I'm taking the token number, I will tell you. See, let me write some example over here. Now, these are the examples I'm putting over here. Yes, now. So name I'm just taking here the X Y Z. Suppose it. Address I'm taking the Bhopal. Okay, do not think about the local address. I'm just talking a simple example. Contact number I'm taking here the 9267445, something like this. Name is I'm taking once again. I'm taking name MNO. Address is just like the in the, and mobile number could be the 74169 something like this. And next, this person, the XYZ person, is trying to get another order for food delivery, and he's also belong to the same. He's also having the same contact number over here. Definitely, he is the same person. So what you are observing over here, you can see there are the two entries we are seeing over here. So to avoid the confusion, he has ordered two times. So we can identify his order by the token number. So first he has ordered the token number that was the 123. Next token number was the 657, and again next he has entered the token number was 427. So you will able to understand token number is basically what? A unique representation of your record. That is the point you can need to understand. But before asking any question, just let me know right now what we have done. You can observe over here. You can observe over here. This is our name of the database, and in the database we have the multiple table. So let me explain to all once again. A database can have a database. I'm writing short. A database can have many files. Can have many files. These files are interpreted. So in our system, we have a table. This name is food delivery, and token number, name, address, and contact number. What are these? These are the attributes. Yes, of our food delivery table. So question we should have in our mind. So what is this? All these are the three different records. Three different records. But a record number one and record number two also having the same entry, but no, they are having this different entry. Why? Because token number is what? Token number is a column. See, this is a column. With this column, what you are doing? With this column, you are getting the getting different record. Different record. So it gives us uniqueness in all records. So you can say now there could be the student names. If talking about the student name is ABC and his contact number is also same. Suppose he is using the friend's contact number, but there are many student name who can have the same name. They are belong to the same city. Unfortunately, they are belong to the same local area. Many students means 5 to 6, and they are also sharing the common contact number. So at a time, how we can distinguish this student belong to this course, this student belong to this course. So student ID, roll number. So that is the reason. So that is the reason we will use. Although practically it would not be possible to each student must have the same contact number, but suppose that it will be happen, then what you will use? You will use a student ID or student roll number to distinguish all the student names who are having the same name. That was a matter. Okay. So is it clear to all right now? So far I am discussing. Is it clear? Or any doubt so far?
Clear, sir.
So what you are doing, you are having, we are getting the uniqueness in all the record by using a one column, that is token. So from this perspective, you can say, so token number column is uh, known as known as key column. Key column. So this is the key column. So by which we are making the record uniqueness. Now come to the point, relational database. So now what is the definition of the relational database? Let me explain over here. I can write it here. Just for it. A relational database, I can write over here, a relational database is a collection of more than one table or relation and representation of these tables would be in form of 2D. Now what is a 2D? Now what is a 2D? 2D means rows
Matrix.
in column, not 2D, not matrix is not appropriate, but right now 2D rows and column, and this rows and column will be represented by the tabular form. Okay, so we can say this is a tabular form. So now you will be able to see all the information what we are getting. We are getting in form of the tabular form, followed by the column name and records. Okay, so now it is clear to all right now.
Yes, sir.
And now move to the theoretical
Yes, sir.
portion. Yeah, good. So move to the theoretical portion. Our relation database is the type of the database that store the and provide the access to the data point. Now, let me give some hint over here. Data points means we are talking about the data values, which are used by records. It could be one value or it could be many. Okay. So relational database are based on the relational model. Of course, a relational model. What is relational model? It means a model which provides the relation between the two different tables. That's why its name is given over the relational model. So while learning the AI model, I will tell you all these model types in detail way. But here we need to understand what is relation data. So you can see, understand right over here. I have highlighted this point in the box. Data will be in table. So it means the representation will be in form the tabular form. So in a relational database, each row in the table is you record is uniquely identified. That's the key. So in our example, what we have a token number, and the columns or the tables hold attributes of the data, and each record usually has the value of each attribute. It means I'm putting the each column or each attribute also having the value. Of course, it has. Now see this diagram. Contact number, we have some values. Address, we have some values. Name, we have some values. So that is a point we have to keep in mind. All these values are recognized by the data points, or we can say data values. So this is just idea about the relation data. Now, is it clear to all right now? This is clear.
Yes, sir.
Anything, anyone who need to ask any question right now about that relational database?
Clear, sir.
Okay, good. So after understanding this fundamental thing, because it is necessary part, we will see the practical session with all these things. That's why I am saying to all right now to understand this one. So after understanding this point, so this is the example here. What you are saying, this is the example which is showing you the relationship. So you can observe over here. You can observe over here. So I can just write over here for more for betterment. See, I can write over here. Here T1, T2, T3, and T4 are tables, and these tables are, okay, we can say these are making relationship. These are making or creating a relationship by sharing one column. If I'm saying over, if I'm saying over here now, see, if I'm talking about the students and faculty. So student database, student relation, student table we have, faculty table we have, but how we can communicate these two tables? There is a one table which is known the relation, the course. So by using the course, the student and faculty can communicate. That is the reason. So as I have written over here, relation database means a relationship between at least two tables. Relationship between at least two tables followed by the relation database. So in our example, customer is a table, order is a table, product is a table, and vehicle is a table. So customer can communicate to the vehicle via customer ID. So based on the customer ID, we can communicate and we will see the communication will be done or relationship can be made. But if any one of the table is not having the same or same kind of the column, the communication will not be done. Suppose you are not teaching the any course by me. Very frankly speaking, right now you are not teaching, you are not understanding any course, or you are not studying any course by me, and I'm not offering any course to you. So what is the relationship between you and me? Zero. So relationship will not be stand where we don't have the common. The common column is required. Or we can say this is sharing column, or we can say the column. We can write over here for more. Or we can say instead of the sharing column, we can say common. Okay, common column. That is the point you people are required to understand. Okay, so this is clear to all right now. Uh, Although I have already written this point on the outside. Just tell me any doubt so far.
No, sir.
Okay. So now it's time to see the database language. Database language is what actually? Database language is saying to us whatever you're writing in the SQL environment. So your syntax will be executed. So all these syntax will be transformed into the machine learning code. But how we can understand? So compiler will use, or interpreter or database interpreter or database compiler will use such thing to translate the information. But in generalized way, we can say the database languages we have the two types. One is data definition language and data manipulation language. With all the data definition language, we have to create the data. We have to define the data. So when we're defining the data, or we can say we are defining the schema or database schema, then we are following the database or data definition language. But when talking about a data manipulation language, in the database manipulation language, once the database is created and we need to update or we need to modify, then what we are doing, we are following the data manipulation language. But adding a new thing in the table or database, you are putting the data definition because again you are defining the data. That is the point. Data manipulation will be more applicable on the records only. That is the key point you have to keep in mind while learning. Data definition means we are just doing the work over the schema. But data manipulation language will work on the record. If we need to keep the record, we need to keep the record, we have to do something. So that the time data manipulation language will be there. That is the point. All this all these activity will be done by the our SQL language, that is structured query. So I can write over here for betterment if no one will give you confusion. So SQL means structured query language. That is the point. Structured query language. So SQL means structured query language, which is and I can write over here. SQL. I just giving the key points over here for a betterment. Compile SQL syntax by DB compiler to understand by machine. So that is a key point you have to keep in mind. So SQL compile the SQL syntax what we are using. It could be many syntax, it could be one syntax. So let me write here syntaxes. By database compiler to understand by machine. So that is the point we have to understand because machine will understand the machine code only. So we need to transform something. From this perspective, we have the data definition language, that is DDL. So what we are doing, we were specifying the database schema was the set of the definitions. Point we have to keep in mind, we are talking about the set of the definition. Here we are just defining the set of the definitions. Okay. So in this case, what we have? We have the create, alter, drop, rename. Create means I have written already over here. Create means create a database. Okay. Here I'm just updating the my statement once again. Create a database or create the table and alter. So modify the database or table. Oh yes, I forgotten to add the content gender of the gender column of the student database. So what I will do? I will modify. So how I can modify? Alter the table. That is the point. Or alter the database. That is the point. Drop. Okay, I found that the student cities column is not required into my database because I'm just giving the marks only. So why this column is required? So I can remove, I can delete the particular database, or I can delete the particular column. So we can do. So that is deleting the database or table. So at the time we have to use the drop. Rename. Yes, rename is saying to us. I have taken the date of birth column, but this date of birth is not need to use because I need to put only the age. So I can use this rename syntax or rename command in the SQL to change your or to rename the column name by date of birth to age. So that is the point. So rename will be the another point. So actually what you are doing, you are changing the column heading, you are changing the column name, you are changing the database name. I found my database name should be uh, XYZ, but no, it should not be XYZ. Uh, it should be ABC. So what I'm doing, I'm just changing my database name. So at the time, this point is applicable that moment. So that is rename will be applicable. But all these commands we will see the practical aspect of course. This is a data definition language. Now is it clear to all right now? Just tell me so far end out.
So
No,
means
sir.
if we rename attribute, then we have to change the whole record of that.
No, no,
Like
no. See,
like we
suppose
said,
no, it would not be happen. If I'm changing the rename of my column name, if data will be affected, then what is this? We are violating the rule of the data independence. That's why we have studied. So it means data independence is not a good concept. So data independence is saying to us our database should be good when we are playing the data independence. If we are doing anything on the physical schema, then logical schema will not be affected. If it is happening, so what is the sense of using the data independence? If you remember my words,
yes, sir.
got it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So rename can be done by the database name can be renamed, database a table can be renamed, or what we have say we can rename the column name. So it is also possible. If I have the table name XYZ, I need to update the table name by the XYZ to ABC. So I can do, but the columns of the attribute of data which is holding by a particular XYZ table, it will not be changed. It will not be removed. If it is happening, so what is sense of studying the database independence? That was a okay. So now it is clear to right now. Any doubt so far?
No, sir.
Okay. So after understanding data definition language, now we have to see what are the things we can happen with the records. And record is what? Record is collection of the data values which are associated with the column name. That is the point. So in this case, we have the four different operation retrieval. So I have already written over here. So read the some points over here. Retrieval means to select the data. I need to retrieve. I need to access. I need to fetch the data. Okay. So that is the point. So what I'm doing, I'm selecting the data as per my demand. Insertion. Okay. After creating the new table, I need to put some record. Else my table will be blank. If I try to fetch some information, so from here I can fetch at the time it is necessary to give the details to my table. That is the point. If I've created the student database and I am not entering any information to the student, so what is the purpose of this? Is a blank file or this is a blank table, so there will be no sense. Deletion, of course, deletion is just stand up to remove the existing data, just like this student is not good for the our uh, this employee is not good for the our company, so we can fire this employee, so we can remove the such data, so it will be possible. And modification, oh, this employee was good, but his salary should be updated by the 50,000 to 60,000, so we can update this 50,000 value by the 60,000, so it is also possible. Okay, so that is the point. And I have written over here, DDA works on the database or schema. This is a tricky point you have to keep in mind while learning the database management system. While DML works on the data. Data means I'm talking about a record. Okay, so see, this is the point we have to keep in mind as a data means I'm talking about the record. So here there are some other operations insert, update, delete, merge. So we can merge the two records. It is also possible. So what the operation we will see in the MySQL tool, we will see step by step. But we will start the learning the database of SQL query handling. We will take much time to understand. So we will see fundamental part first, and if time permits, then we will see the advanced. So yes, tell me right now, any doubt in this data manipulation language? Yes, anyone who have any doubt? So, data definition language, we need to see database schema. But data manipulation language is saying to us there are data manipulation language. So, in the data manipulation language, what we are doing? In the data manipulation language, we have the two types of the flavor. One is procedural DML and other one is declarative DML. That is the point you people are required to understand properly. Okay. So, what is mean by the procedural DML? Procedural DML is saying to us user to specify what data are needed and how to get those data. This is just like example. If you need to move one city to another city, then you know how to go there. So you know the path, you know the distance, and you know the drive, so you can go. So this is a procedure. You know the procedure. But when talking about declarative DML, or it is also known as a non-procedural DML, it's saying to us user just know how to user just know what data is needed or what data are needed, but we don't know how to get those data. So this question we can understand at this point we can understand like this one. We know we need to move from one city to another city, but we don't know how to go there because I have never seen the path. I don't know what would be the route. So at the time you are coding the declarative DML. You will try and just trying to write the code. So in the declarative DML, what we have to do, we have to write the code to know all the things. That is was a so in the DML, procedural DML and declarative DML, we will see step by step. But first we will see the SQL and query, and we will learn what is meant by the DML proper. So these are the two type of the flavor of the DML. We have to understand procedural DML and declarative DML. There's no different types of the DDL. Okay, so DDL is itself is a DDL only. But in the DML, we have the two flavor, but the procedural and non-procedural, and we will see non-procedural as well. And my this is my one thing I have discussed with my other slots as well, previous slots. I gave a promise to them. I will show the demonstration of the non-procedural DML, and I showed them. And this is happened with the first time I think with them. So what I'm speaking, I will try to elaborate with the justification with the practical aspect. So if time permits, then we will see the lots of things. So depend on the time, what the point we will see, or if some points are missing, so no issue, and we will cover by the our different way. So there will be no issue. But learning should be start from the fundamental part because fundamental part is more important. If you are missing the fundamental part, definitely you are not getting anything. So everything will be skipping over your head. To avoid the skipping overhead, just see you are sitting and everything is skipping overhead. So it's a better idea to gain something. We can stand up. So now it's time to stand up and catch all the words from the faculties to understand the thing. That is the point. So one step you have to take. You have to change your position, sitting to stand. So that is the my words. So procedural DML and declarative DML we will see step by step. Don't worry. So yes. Now point is to be remembered. A query is what actually? The question we should have in our mind, what is a query? Query is definitely what? Query is nothing which is simple statement and that is required to get the information or to execute the some information to update a database to perform the any operation on the database. And now you have to understand the portion of a DML that involves information retrieval is called query language. So what you are doing from the DML, that is data manipulation language part of the query language, you're trying to fetch some information. You are accessing some information. So I can write over here simple what retrieval means. So retrieval means I'm talking about the retrieval means fetch, or we can say access, or we can say get. They're also having the same thing. So to get the data, to fetch the data, to access data, and that is under come into the query. So I'm writing here select employee name from the employee. So this is what actually what I'm doing. I can write what I'm doing. I'm Selecting
Rename attribute from employee call employee
select,
table.
selecting employee name. I can write over here English statement employee name from employee table. Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm selecting the employee name from the employee table to know how many employee are the part of, how many employees are the part of the my employee database or data set or table we can say. And when I'm writing this query on the SQL environment, so if I'm writing this query on the SQL environment, so what is happening? Database compiler, this query will pass onto database and database compiler will send, okay, and we can say this information will pass to database and database compiler will respond. So response will be done from as a result. So we are getting the response as a result. So our result will be displayed. Okay, enter details. So this is a query. The query is not a big term. It's a simple term. We have to keep in mind. Okay, so this point is clear to all right now. What do you mean by the query and what is mean by the data definition language or data manipulation language? Yes, tell me right now. Is it clear to all right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the various type of the SQL command. So we will see, but this is the general command. So data definition language compromising by the create, alter, drop, rename. Truncate and comment are the advanced command. If time permits, then we will see definitely. Here, the pictorial diagram is showing to a DQL, data query language. But data query language is a part of the data manipulation language. So we can say data query language and data manipulation language are the same part, but data manipulation language we're trying to manipulate something. With the help of the select or retrieve or fetch, at a time we are not manipulating anything. That is the reason. That is the reason it is divided into the another sub part that is the data query language. So here we have the select part or select command. And data control language is of course it required. After sometimes if I need to save my record, so this is to be done by the two important command that is the grant and revoke. So this is the see this can be done by the while performing the activity on the multiple transactions. So once transaction is updated, then other things will be happening. Suppose you don't have a balance, then what you will do? You are not allowed to withdraw a single amount, so you don't have the zero balance. But after some time, your friend is transferring 5,000 rupees, then you will able to transfer 1 rupees to 5,000 rupees. So what you are getting the grant or not to access the information. That is the part. So that is also to be done by the data control language. So that part we will see if time permits, then we will see. Because insert, update, delete, and all these things, create, alter, it will take lots of time to learn. So first we will see the fundamental commands, and then we'll see the part. And in the left, on the right side, I have given the India Railway Bank and University. I explained this idea in a simple way. In our India country, what we have seen, railway is the biggest network, and it also having by the large volume of the database. Bank is also we have the large volume of database. In India, we have the many banks, and each and every bank has own database. University, you can visit any university where 1,000, 2,000 students are lying and they are staying. So we will have the huge amount of database, student details and what their courses and faculties and the details. So the mapping between the student faculties and other things, definitely we have the huge volume of the data. So these are the three famous data we have in India. So that's why I have put it over here. Okay. So yes, is it clear to all right now? Yes, tell me, is it clear to all right now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so without wasting much time here, I have some exercise to all right now, and you have to go with me. And right now, I'm just adding some more slide. Yes. No. Okay, so what I'm doing right now, just let me do different color right now because we have already taken red color many times. So So exercise to understand SQL. Okay, so very beginning part I can say over here. From this point, you can able to understand what we have. First, let me explain the important point over here. There are there are three clauses to use SQL. Okay, so what are those? Number one, select. Number two, from. Number three, where. Number three, where. Now, let me explain this one first. This is used to select column names or column name. So we can say right like this name, column names. Okay, so from the table. Now this is clause. This clause is saying to us from which table you want data. Now, when talking about the where clause is it is required when condition is applicable. So this is basically what, but I can write over here better, but it's optional. While select and from are the mandatory. Okay, so without this point we can. So after understanding this point, let me first draw the any example and then I will tell you how to write the query over the system. First, can anyone tell me which database or which table I must use to represent our example? Just can anyone tell me? Yes, tell me any example.
Student
Food
profile.
delivery.
Student we have done so many times. So can anyone take any other example?
Food delivery, sir.
A food delivery we have seen today. Now, can you tell me anyone?
Flight.
Sir,
airport.
hotel management system.
Hotel management system is good example. Flat we have. Okay, flat example I'm taking right now. Okay, good. This is the good. So now we have the flat database. So this is a flat database. So I'm just taking the F number. This is the flat. Okay, and flat um, flat name we can take. Okay, and source place. So I'm writing here source, and we have the destination. Destination I must write in short, but no problem. And the price. Because it is fair, but I'm written price, so no issue. We can consider. And any other thing, the date of journey. So date of journey, date of joining, date of journey. So these are the sufficient information we can take over here. Okay, just let me write correctly.
Sir, what is the first column name?
There is a flat number.
Okay.
Because from Hyderabad to Bhopal or Hyderabad to Delhi, there are the 10 flat. So how we can recognize which flat? So what we are doing here, we are creating our table. Okay, that is a my. So let me explain. This is the structure we have designed, but after creating the structure, what we are doing, we are trying to get the table. So how we can create? So there will be some syntax. This syntax we will see without handout. Create table. So we are creating a table. Then a table can have the many attributes. A database cannot have the many attributes. Database can have the many tables or relation of files, but a table can have the many attributes. So what are the attributes we have? The table name. So what is the table name? Right? Here table name, right? And definitely each and every column is required to data type. So create table name, and inside the parentheses we can take flat number, and it should be integer, and the flat number will be followed by the 4 digit only. So I'm pressing the its size, comma, and f name, that is the flat name, it will be integer. So for a string, so I'm taking the varchar. Varchar means variable character. So based on the length of the character, it will occupy the information into the memory. So 20 size is sufficient, 20 character is sufficient actually. 20 means 20 characters. Same thing, we have to use the source. So we have to take the varchar. In short way, we are taking the 10 degree sufficient, and destination I'm writing short way. So varchar. Varchar means variable character. 10 I'm also taking for understanding purpose. And next date of joining. So this data could be date. Okay. And I'm now no size is not need to pass in the data because it is a default format we have. So here we are just close. So after this point, our information will be created. So after creating this point, next what we have to insert the information. So after running this command, our
So,
data set. Yes, tell me.
so what is that int for?
Int4 means data type. See, just like the C programming, if you're defining a variable, then data type is required.
Yes, I understand that is integer, but what is the
Four.
fourth?
4 means you can put the flat number like this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 2, 4. So how many bits are required to represent a flat? You can't take the 69246, then it will having the 5. So 5 digit cannot be accommodated. We will get an error. So 4 means
So,
what is the 4 digit you require to represent? Yes, tell me.
okay, so yeah, understood.
Okay. So, suppose here I am taking the 2. So I am putting the flat number 1, 2, 3. So because the number of digits I am taking the 4, so that will be not accepted. Only 2 digits will be acceptable. That is the point. Now clear? So after
Yes, sir.
Okay, so after this point, we have the next command to insert the data. So first, I'm giving simple like one example. Insert. Insert into is the name of the our syntax. These are the keyword. So insert into table. What is the table name? Flat. I'm taking the flat table. And what are the values? What are the values I must put? I'm writing in the downside for betterment. So first value I need to put the flat number should be 1, 2, 3. The order we have to keep in mind as it is. We can't change the order. So first point was the flat number. Next was the flat name. So flat name I am need to put in the single code, that is the XYZ. Okay. Now next what we have the source. So I can also, this is a string, so source I can take this is the Bhopal. Okay, in the PPL I'm writing short key. Next we have to move to Delhi. So in the Delhi I'm taking right now this one. Now next we have the date of journey. So data type also should be, or information should be informed the single code. So date I can take like the format 2021 dash, today months we have the September, July, so we have to take like this one, and today's date is 16. So this will be format y m d d. And now close this parenthesis. And now while executing this command, the first record will be inserted over here. So first record will be inserted here, and it will contain the information flight name XYZ BBL, and here we have the DEL, that is Delhi. A price I have forgotten, so no issue because price was not added into the my column. So right now I must not contain this because while creating the my table I have forgotten to add the price. So we can't say this price will not be considered. So we can say this. I'm just leaving blank only. It is better I did remove right now, else we will get confused. Let me remove this column. Okay, so let me remove this column first. Yeah, that is sufficient. So we can make this column like this because we have forgotten to add the price. So now data journey would be, what would be the data journey? Data journey would be here to 16. So this would be our first record we have entered or inserted. So that is a creating the table or insert. All these things we will see the practical, but this is a fundamental study we need to understand. So is it clear to all right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So from this point, this is the things we have to follow. Let me clear to all. This is syntax of the DDL, data definition language, because we are defining the data. Okay, because we are defining the schema. But what is the this syntax? This syntax is followed by the DML, data manipulation language. We are manipulating data. We are trying to insert something. Okay, so here after DDL, you are trying to follow the DML. So it is a simple. Same, you can insert the more column or more data. You of course you can do. Simultaneously, we can add the more data or one by one we can insert. So it's a choice. What is the syntax you are following? By which you can do. See, assigning the multiple variables simultaneously we can do, or one by one we can do the same thing. The insert with the help of the insert into syntax or command, we can insert the record one by one, or we can insert the many record simultaneously. It is also possible. But the point we have to keep in mind, the right number is having the uniqueness. But here we are not providing any constraint, so duplicacy may occur because no constraint is applying over here to distinguish your flat number. So here duplicacy will be applicable. Normally duplicacy will be applicable because we are not putting the constraint. That is the point you have to keep in mind. But for understanding purpose, we have created our schema, and now after that we can update the schema. So data definition language we can use by the alter table. The table can be modified by adding the or by updating the some constraint. Okay, so fundamental part should be clear first, then advanced part we will see later. Now it is clear to all right now.
Yes, sir.
So here I'm just asking some question to my all the students, those who are mentally present over here. First question: select all data from all data from flight table. So how to write the query on system? So what we are doing, we are trying to retrieve. Now it's time to fetch or get the information from the flight table. Can anyone tell me what would be the output?
The query will be select star from flight and it will give you the whole data. Means
Select
the whole star from flight.
select star from flight.
Right.
So we are writing over here select star from flight. It means what we are doing. We are star means we are selecting the all. Instead of the select star, you can use the all keyword. So what would be the output? So result can be done over here. So I'm showing the my result. What will be result? Result will be F number and F name, the flight name, source, destination, and date of journey will come. An entire record will be displayed over here. Suppose we have the 1,000 record, 1,000 record will be displayed over here. Okay. This query is clear to all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, come to the point. We were talking about the. I'm writing the simple point. Select uh, uh, select a flat name which will okay, which has actually flat name which has source is equal to Nagpur NGP. I'm writing go short. Okay, so how to write this query? Because here we have the condition.
Select F name where source is equals to NGP.
Select fnum from flight where source is equal to ngp.
Yes, source from right where source is equal to okay. So this we are not making the comparison. So we are assigning. Okay, so it's assigning of what it should be double equal to single equal to
Single equal to.
Single.
single
Single.
single equal. So this would be our query. So here we have the select clause, from clause, and where clause. So the output would be here. The result would be very simple. Here you can see the result. Result I'm just showing over here from my database. Only one column will be there, and it will show the suppose we are flat name. Suppose if in the database if we have so X Y Z or ABC. So these are the flat name which belong to the source Nagpur or NG. But 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 in our database we don't have this source. We have only the one record. So at the time result will be F name and this will show nothing. Okay. But from the record, so that is the point. But if you have the records, lots of records which belong to the or which match, then result will be shown like this. Okay, so here entire column will not show. Okay, so here all columns will not be shown due to select F name only. Okay, that is the point you have to clarify. Okay, now is it clear to all right now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And last query I am asking right now today. This is the third one. Select flight number and select flight number and destination from flight where flight name is Air India. Okay. So can anyone tell me?
Select f has comma destination from flight where fnum equal to Air India.
Air India.
I have written all the clauses over here. This is the thing we are doing for the retrieving the information. So this retrieving means we are calling the DML, but it is considered into the data query name. So select what we have to select. We have to select the column name F number, that is flight number, comma. We will not use any special character only. We will use only the comma to separate the column and DST for the destination. And from work flight and where here flight name. So flight name will be here. Yes. So result will shown over here. There will be only the two columns will shown over here. Only the if record are matched, then respectively records will be displayed over here. That is our result. Okay, so it is clear to all right now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So any doubts?